Call to order. Here we are. Any public participants? 9 participants.
It doesn't look like anybody's on from the public.
Okay, so there's Liz. Okay, next is reports and Norwalk Historical, Diane Jelleret.
Yes, good evening, everybody. I first want to thank everybody who was able to come to our 4th of July celebration. It was fun. And Eric, I want to thank Eric Chandler for his wonderful presentation and lecture. And what we did, in addition to having the bell ringing, we actually had a dedication of the Lafayette marker that is down the street on East Wall Street. If you haven't seen it, we got that probably late last year, and it was a donation. And I don't know if you know, Marquis de Lafayette actually made a stop in Norwalk in 1824, and that was 50 years after the American Revolution. So we have a marker to actually mark the spot where he actually spent probably 1 or 2 hours, and then he moved on, and he visited 25 cities in Connecticut on his rounds. So so we're happy to have that. And next year will be officially 200 years, and next August is when he actually came to Norwalk. We'll be having a little celebration and to actually to celebrate him coming, 50 years after the revolution. So thank you all who were there. So the other thing that I have to say is everybody knows Darren Raymond Locke, who's been working on our collection. She is moving on. She's taking a full-time position at the Barnum Museum, but have no fear. We have hired a new full-time curator along with the city of Norwalk, and his name is Michael Murphy, and he'll be starting in August. So he'll be picking up where Darren left off, but she's actually going to be training him. So so we'll be seeing her in and out for the next few months. But we have a new curator, and he's wonderful. He was at the New Canaan Historical Society and Museum. So we look forward to welcoming Michael into the Norwalk Historical Society and the city of Norwalk. We are participating in the Connecticut Summer at the Museums. That is a statewide event. We got one of the grants in order to do this, so that it's to encourage adults and the kids to come to the museums throughout the state of Connecticut. I think there's about 125 museums participating. So we're highlighting for kids to come to with one adult to the Mill Hill Historic Park, because that's the one that's much more fun. You can come to the Norwalk Historical Society Museum, but looking at the Little Red Schoolhouse and the Governor Fitch office and the exhibits that we have in the townhouse is very exciting, and people have been coming and just are really amazed at what we have. I call it our little Williamsburg within Mill Hill. So we're excited to be participating again this summer. We participated last summer, and we're doing it again this summer. So that's kind of what we're doing for the summer in August. So the program runs from July 1 through September 4th. So we're doing July and August. And then September, we're going to start some virtual lectures. You'll all be getting notice on our virtual lectures. That's going to start coming up because we haven't done one this year yet. So so we're going to start that back up with our lectures virtually and some in-person events. So, and also in August, we're going to have the opportunity to catch up on some things that we needed to catch up on during the year. So that is my report for this evening. Any questions?
Yes, I had a good. I just had a quick question. And I'm happy to be here. I'm sorry I missed the last meeting, but nobody told me I
Didn't miss
was.
the last meeting. It didn't happen.
It didn't happen. Don't worry.
Well, I'm still sorry I missed it.
I'm sorry, could you please introduce yourself?
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
Jim Freyer. I'm the councilman from the,
Oh,
I think we know each other, Lisa.
yeah, okay.
He's
I
really
do,
fun.
it was like out of context, like I were waiting and you have glasses on and, okay, we're good.
Tom grew
I know
here.
you.
Yes, Jim, you had a question.
So I forgot what the question was now.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
What I was going to ask was, could you just give me a little background about the speakers that you're going to have?
Where the virtual lectures are going to be on covering Indigenous people. So we're going to have a series of 4 between September, 1 in September, 2 in October, and 1 in December. So we're inviting speakers that are going to specifically talking about Indigenous people, Indigenous culture. So that's kind of stuff that we're doing right now. We'll probably come up with some other things, but this is the first time we're actually doing a series of lectures that way. And so we're looking forward to it.
Okay, great.
I forgot to welcome Councilman Freyer. That's my fault.
Welcome, Jim.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is, and thanks, Diane. Next up is Lockwood Matthews Mansion. We've got Judy and Patsy.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to start by thanking you all for your support to our programs at our off-site locations. We had a very vibrant lecture series this spring, and it was a big success. It was sponsored by Connecticut Humanities and the state of Connecticut's operating grant, so it was great that we had a big showing in terms of attendance. We have 3 fantastic interns working with us at the moment, 2 from the Mayor's Employment Program and 1 from Franklin University in Switzerland. They're all 3 are interested in history and the arts and culture, and it's been a real joy to have them. And they've also been really helping us out a lot during this time in which we are slightly understaffed. The old-fashioned flea market, which is slated to be launched on August 27, that has had a lot of vendors interested, and we've already signed up 65 for the event, and we haven't reached the final number yet. We are launching a young writers competition in the fall titled My Museum Adventure, asking students to write about a visit to a landmark, possibly the mansion or museum. Lectures are being finalized for the fall. One, actually, we've been talking to Diane about a collaboration with Norwalk Historical Society at Mill Hill on October 5th, featuring Max Tucci, who owned the Delmonico restaurant, and his grandparents started that restaurant. They're the great grandparents, and he owned it and has written a book about it, which has been hugely successful. And finally, there is a talk at the Norwalk Library on baseball history. And that's also still in we need to finalize that as well. But we have Bob Wirtz, who is a friend of Patsy, by the way, but also a renowned baseball expert, journalist, etc. And this will be a panel, possibly of 2 or 3 people discussing the history of baseball and what's going on today. It should be a lot of fun, and not just for adults, for kids as well. thank you for listening, and if you have any questions.
How many baseball panelists do you need?
So at the moment, we have tentative, but no. One is definite, and that's Bob Works. We have another one who's a renowned baseball player who is retired and who has agreed to do it. We just have to finalize the contract. And then there's a third panelist that still has to be defined, but we wanted to have 3 panelists on the baseball.
Because there is a woman in my district, by the way, who does a blog on baseball, and she's done quite a few lectures. She was over talking to the Darien Men's Association,
Yeah.
and she's done quite a few talks about baseball, and I believe she might have even written a book. So if you're still looking for one, I'll approach her and ask her if she's interested.
If you could send me the name, and then because we have a chair of the lecture committee who's one of our trustees, so I'm going to run it by her to see, but it sounds wonderful, and I really would love to hear about her and possibly engage her. So if you could give me her name, send me an email with just the name, then I'll tell Kathy Olson, who's our trustee and chairing this lecture series, about who you have, and strongly suggesting that we should get her involved if we can. It sounds wonderful.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I can add on to some of the things that Susie said on our programming and stuff. As a trustee, I really want to thank everybody in Norwalk for helping us to find venues during our absence from the mansion. So Stepping Stones, it hosted the lectures that Susie mentioned, and the library's doing that. And then we're having another function, I believe, at Mill Hill. So everybody is really helping us out, and we greatly appreciate it. We also are still having our gala this year on October 14th, and we're having it at Shore Haven because we can't have it obviously in the mansion. So, but two major things, and I don't have the agenda in front of me, Adana, but is the approval for the release of the city money. Is that later on, or
That's
can
under
we
new business,
handle?
yes.
So
We
it
tried to
will,
get a special meeting last week, but I didn't have a quorum, so that's.
okay. So is that at the end of the meeting, or when
It's,
is it?
assuming there's no old business, it's after reports.
Okay.
So coming up
Okay.
quick.
Oh, yeah, all right. So let me just report on construction, because I think most of you know we had our groundbreaking ceremony on Monday, June 12th. And so we're like now almost 5 weeks into the construction. We have again been working with all of the tenants within the park to make any disruption as minimal as possible. But this week we are doing site work at Stepping Stones. We have to bring the water line across their driveway, and so they're working at night to accomplish that. And that I believe is scheduled to be pretty much done, I think, by Friday. But that is messy, and we're getting that out of the way. It's going along. Well, they're going to start to take up the floors on the second floor starting tomorrow and Friday, because that's how we're accessing the ceilings in order to put in the fire suppression system. we're meeting with the whole team. There's about 20 of us that meet every now Tuesday. We have a job meeting every Tuesday to go over the schedule and any issues and funding and the rest. We do have a new person who took over from at the state level from Christine Marks and Ryan. Susie, I forget his last name. Do you know it? It begins with A, but I'm
Yeah.
sorry about that. Agra or something like that. Anyway,
Rosia or something.
Christine had been with us through many of our projects in the past, really for the last maybe 15 years. So that's an adjustment for us. And I'm just now working with attorney Darren Callahan for a new assistant agreement with the city for the additional $1,250,000 that was approved by the council on June 13th of this year in the 23-24 budget. So I'm happy to try to answer any questions if anybody has any. It's a very complicated project, very complicated. And everybody is using all the care that they possibly can not to disrupt anything within the building that's not necessary.
I had a question. I was wondering, did you find that you are getting contractors now? I know there was a
Yeah,
problem
we have,
early
yeah, we
on.
just, one of the holdups was sort of the people taking up the floors in the basement. You know, all of the stone in the basement is being removed, cataloged, and then intended to go back where it was, except for the area that is designated to be our archives. And that just got signed a couple of days ago. One of the last ones that it's out there, which we're working on right now, is the infill painting for where the intrusions for the into the ceilings from the floors above for the fire suppression. So we're getting ready to rebid that because the people did not understand what the project was, because those areas are probably only 2 or 3 inches in circumference, but they have to be up to standard, you know, with the existing.
Having someone that knows what they're
decor.
doing with that.
Yeah,
with that type
yeah,
of,
yeah.
mansion.
And in the past, John Canning, company out of New Haven, has done most of our work, and they did bid. Hopefully they're going to bid again. But for those people who aren't familiar with them, they're nationally known. They actually did our library ceiling a few years back, but they also did Grand Central Station ceiling with a constellation and the state capitol. They're, you know, just top quality, which is what we require.
Sounds good.
Okay, great. Thanks, Patsy.
You're welcome.
Next up is reports. I'll just say built for buildings. David and I met with Neil Rennie, who's a property manager of Guardian Services in the city. We handed over the keys for Mill Hill, well, not all of them, Mill Hill, Townhouse, the schoolhouse, all those buildings on the campus. And David changed the filters and the AC, etc. So that's underway, and just going over stuff. And also the gutters were checked today, and Diana pointed out about the AC not working, and there's bad control ward that's going to be within 2 weeks, right, Diane? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's in the Little Red Schoolhouse.
it's nice that now that David doesn't have to do everything, and that we have Neil Rennie on speed dial. So that's it for buildings at Mill Hill. While I was there, I just took a quick walk through cemetery. Mill Hill Cemetery looks good. I haven't checked the other ones. And financials, David usually does those. he is away today, so next up is old business. I don't know if we have any old business. Don't think so. So new business is, Lockwood
Well,
Mansi.
Dana,
Yes,
well, Dana, any of those previous things that we talked about, like the YMCA house, like any of that stuff? Or is that under new business?
I'm not sure what that is, how that
Like Lewis
stands
Street,
now.
YMCA?
Yeah, I mean, those are up for demolition and, I'm not sure, I mean, because there was this big gap, and when the plan was from 2018, I think I was at a meeting about their plans, and I don't think they're the same plans anymore, so that's something we all have to look at again. I think I need David to get me up to speed on that. That's
Because there was a lot of like, to save some of the historic features of the house that they were gonna demolish to
Right.
put in the lobby, or there was a lot of that was supposed to be integrated, at least we
Right.
did have a few meetings about it. But I don't know if that plan is the same plan today. I was wondering that as
Yeah,
well.
I'm also not 100% certain what's happening there, and I know that 394 has been tagged by some local quote unquote artists. And so is it 2 or 4, maybe one, there's 3 properties, because one, number 4 and the Y are one property. And then the other 2, I can live with the loss of the 2 vernacular houses, but the Victorian is kind of tough. I'm not sure what our grounds for at this point are with that, or the YMCA, I guess, is apparently a kind of a super fun site of a mold museum now.
But we should at least get like maybe a quick scope of work and what the
Yeah.
overall plan is. I mean, not
Right.
to get into all the detail of the whole job, but just to see, if it's anything like what was presented at.
Right, because we did get all those
Yeah, I
plans
mean,
in
they-
2018. Yes, Mark?
I was gonna say, they did do the plans with planning and zoning, and they're really trying to just push it through. They didn't even want
Right.
a public hearing.
Yeah. And yeah, unlike what they did in 2018 for the same thing, I don't think it's anything like the same plan they had then, but I'm gonna have to look into this, and or if anyone else has to find out anything.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I don't know why they just can't shift the whole thing to the left. That little bit of a parking lot is not gonna make a difference.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Just shift it to the left and leave the house and repurpose it for something. No,
So-
I don't know. They make it seem like they can't do that. I mean, how often does that little parking lot get used by anybody? I've never seen it get used.
It gets used for like pride and stuff, but that's about it, or
When
For
there's
what?
something
You
in the
broke up.
park, when yeah,
something very large at the
Lockwood Matthews is
Mansion
overflow parking.
but it's not even ours to use, so it's not technically that, but yeah, again, it could be shifted over, but we do need to see what's going on there. And yeah, they're always trying to push things through.
Dana,
Yes,
I was on the council when we got that parking lot from the state. It was an access piece of land from the Route 7 construction, of which I was liaison. So the city owns that piece.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody is aware of that.
Okay.
Because that goes back to 1970. And then the Victorian was Dr. Aiello's practice. And when Frank Zula was mayor, we negotiated that, and the Y bought it because, I was
Right.
chairman of the board for
right,
many years.
because Patsy is Superwoman that knows pretty much everything on West Avenue.
Well, Doug, I can back that up a little further. When the hospital came in and Maplewood, there was an agreement to sell them a portion that was still belong to the city of that parking lot
Mm,
based on a share. They were gonna allow us X amount of parking spaces to be allowed because we brought up about the Lockwood Matthew Museum and the Children's Museum and that being like some overflow parking across the street. And that was agreed to, but they never consummated that deal because the hospital
Right.
at that point had backed out of the deal. So
Hmm.
moving forward, I don't know what the council did with that parcel. So,
yeah. I mean, now it's called 394 LLC or something, but it still seems to be owned by the hospital, if I'm not
Right.
mistaken.
Not the parking lot, not the parking
Oh,
lot.
yeah, I
not
meant
the
the
parking
whole,
lot,
the
not a section of that
property, yeah,
part of that parking lot.
right,
And that parking lot was also discussed at length about possibility for the trail. That was a good place for people to come and go either direction on the trail.
right,
And now there's the art museum or the
Yeah.
art, I don't know what it's called.
the art space, yeah, that always does need a parking.
They
as
need,
well.
they need like overflow, like over parking
Right.
for that.
How about a few more crosswalks while we're at it, but that's another commission question. Yeah, so that's, again, Lisa and Mark brought up the good questions about what's going on with that property, so.
Well, yeah, because we were invited, several of us took a tour of the whole
Right.
house and there was, a lot of, energy expended. I know Todd, was there and he also looked at the YMCA building. So, I mean, that would just be all wasted time if whatever we had decided to do at that point, isn't part of this project.
Right. And I guess also the other thing is the hospital had several so-called owners, whether it's Hartford Healthcare now and Danbury Hospital and
Yeah, but I don't,
all these other.
I don't care about that.
Yeah, but it does kind of affect,
The project's the project, if it's changed dramatically, we should know.
right, yeah,
So could I just ask a question?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to slow you guys down, but
Sure.
what is the concern about the development of the property then? Is it just the old Victorian houses that are there?
well, I think most of us are mostly concerned with the one on the corner, with all the ornamentation on it. It's a very nice house.
Right,
The other ones are rather kind of vernacular, but, and the Y itself, I guess, is beyond hope at this point because of the mold situation is what I've heard. And I suppose it's not what the hospital wants. So again, this has been going on since 2018 and then sat idle for quite some time.
right.
And now it's come up again. So, and we're kind of left out of the loop on the commission, which we should be, I don't think. So that's what we need to look into.
So basically, you just want to get more information about what's really
Yeah.
going on. Okay.
And Dana, could I add a couple pieces just from the
Yeah.
P and Z side?
Yeah.
So the commission did receive an application that I don't believe was the original scheme that you guys saw prior to like me working with you guys.
Right.
It's a new developer that's doing it. And I'm happy to share the project link from our website. And they're also going to a public hearing on August 2nd. So
Okay.
through the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Yeah, if you could forward that to all of us, that would be terrific.
Did we ever hear anything on Lewis Street either?
Lewis, I guess it's just sort of a weird situation. Yeah, we
I
could,
think a fence went around it.
oh, it did? Last time I looked, I didn't see that, but yeah, something we need to keep an eye on, but that's just kind of an odd duck, we'll call it, at the moment. Because I'm not sure really what is going on there. because we're only getting our information from the owner, so again, I'm not sure what the whole story is with that 4 Lewis Street, right off the green. That's another thing to look into. Okay, so that's all our old business, I think. Next up is Lockwood Matthews Mansion. We need to approve, and I can't put this in the right words as how David does it. It's like they are awarded a grant from, and Patsy or Susie can help me out here. We get a grant from the state.
No,
And, or
no,
it
this
something
is local money. They, historically, the city has given Lockwood Matthews Mansion, Inc. Money out of operating over, well, at least 25 years. And it has been at the level of 100,000 for the last few years. And normally we just send a request for release of funds. It's all been approved by the Council of Planning and Zoning, and it's in the budget. So, but apparently this year, they're now asking you people to approve the release of the money. Not the fact of the money, but the release of the funds
Right.
to us.
Yeah, I think there's some little complication that is put into our account or some sort of,
Well, it goes
Formality,
through,
yeah.
it goes through your budget.
Yeah.
We are under you as we go through the budget process.
right,
So that's, but this is the first time this has ever been
Yeah.
requested by the comptroller's office.
They're just putting another check into the system on the
Right.
appropriations, so.
Yeah.
It's,
So-
Dan, it's Doug. I'm sorry. I appreciate you trying to put together something last week. We were, at the time, my request was, we were a little on the edge.
right,
Um,
yeah. Can I
and,
understand?
you know, hopefully we'll get it by the middle of August, the payment. But, and I appreciate all that you people have done. I just want to echo a lot what Patsy said, Susie, that we're so much appreciative of all the support and that they've done. It's that important, that background on me is not a fake background. That's where I am.
Okay.
I'm
Oh,
down in
hey,
North
it's
Carolina.
my yard. Oh, no.
You know, it's probably Patsy's probably got a better view from her place.
Doug,
Uh,
Doug,
Yeah.
I'm
that's
in
not
my
a,
office.
that's not a fake background behind me. I'm really in a painting.
That looks like a lithograph. Just be technical. Yeah, so it's a formality we have to go through, and I know other times we've had to have the money in under our auspices in order to sign it over to
Right.
Lockwood Matthews Mansion.
Right.
And so now I think we have, this is where I get confused about the rules on how to,
We need a motion and a second and then a vote.
Yeah. okay,
So
a motion.
I
to
move,
approve.
I move that the commission vote to release the $100,000 of city funding to the Lockwood Matthews Mansion.
Operating.
Operating.
funds.
I'll second it.
I second the motion.
Okay, so we have 2 seconds, or is that a second and third?
Yeah, third.
And and how do we vote in favor of this? I vote yes.
Yes.
I think that's a unanimous vote on releasing the money to Lockwood Mansion for the $100,000.
Dana, because this is the first time that this has been done, I'm not sure, maybe you should check with David Westmoreland to see
Right.
whom should get your letter, or if it's just the minutes or whatever. But
Right,
if the minutes aren't approved until next month, that's a problem for us,
Right.
you know? So,
ironically, I already got a letter, which I approved, and then it was not. Well, I'll try to speed it up somehow.
okay, thank
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Who was the
Well,
letter, who was the letter from?
Well, I think it was from Susie, actually, and we're like, following the old rules at that point.
No, but from somebody in the city though.
I have to, I don't have
The letter, Susie, normally Susie would write a letter to the controller and the money would be released. And this is the very first time again that this process now, they want your signature basically on it. So you have to let somebody know in the controller's office. That's why I'm saying you need to check with
Right.
David Westmoreland, because he would know best.
Or you could just call Shitsume or Henry Jackowitz. They could probably tell you.
Well, they might not even know, so that's, No,
They would know.
well,
If they were looking, somebody asked them for $100,000, they'd find out.
Okay. Jim, you can send me their information later, because then I can get in touch with them. Thanks. So that
I
is.
just had a question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So Jim, I mean, actually, you actually look younger and thinner, so I didn't recognize you at first, but I'm just curious, are you a part of our historic commission now? Or are you, like?
Yeah, I'm taking over
trying to
for
understand
Tom
the role,
Livingston.
just because it's something different, you know, someone different on.
No,
our
it's
meeting.
Tom Livingston was sitting in with you guys. And now he's stepped down from the council. I've taken his job. And that's how I show up.
Great, okay.
It must be the light though.
He looks thinner in real life.
No,
Well,
he
at the
didn't.
beach. I saw him the other day at the beach. We had a little pre-meeting. No.
All right, good.
Well, thank you all.
Thanks,
Thank
Deb.
No,
Okay.
thank you. I gotta go watch 5 grandkids now. So
Okay. Uh-oh.
Have
They're
fun.
it's okay. It's all wonderful. Take care.
and I'm gonna sign off too, because I'm
Okay.
supposed to be on vacation too.
Yeah,
So-
go ahead, Patsy, take the
Go
money and run.
enjoy.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Susie,
Not all of you. No, just kidding. Okay, now up is voting on Norwalk Historical Society's budget, which we're going to do just in one lump versus when we used to do it as a quarterly, I think it was, Diane. Yeah, so we're gonna do it,
Yes.
be more efficient too. And you probably need to give me the wording because I'm not David. The correct wording for this vote we need to do.
Well, just follow the language from the previous funding motion and just substitute the amount and the receiving party.
Okay. So Eric, would you like to make a motion?
Sure. What's the amount that we're funding?
Diane? I don't
don't have that information in front of me at all. You should have gotten that from David or
Then-
from the city.
You know, absent an amount, I don't know that we can take a valid vote at this point.
I'm not sure if David told me.
you
an
should
amount.
probably have a report.
Yeah,
You must have something because I don't have it.
Is this the budget for the coming year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably have it, Jim. You probably know the application.
boy.
Or if I don't have it, I know somebody that you.
Yeah, I know somebody who has
it.
it too. Right.
Um, But I think it doesn't make that much difference, even if I can dig it out of some booklet I've got here. It would be hard for you to vote on it if you don't know what it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
We
correct.
can't.
I think you
Right.
you really have to, I think you got to circulate the budget to everybody that's going to vote on it,
Right,
to be
yeah.
honest with you.
I think, I think so too.
Yeah, so
yeah.
we need to get that
We need to
information
table
and then
that,
we
I
can do an
guess.
e-vote.
So I can take a look and see what's in the approved budget, and I could probably get back to you with that.
Okay.
Can we do an email vote? Are we allowed to do that?
That,
Well, it's actually, if it was, who put is the budget just what you got from the city?
Yes.
Yes.
Far as I
Okay,
know,
so it's
yes.
the city's giving it to you.
Yeah,
Then I don't see why, I don't even know why you're voting on it in that case.
I think it's just because of,
This is again, another case where the money is passing through us to a related but outside organization.
Right,
like-
right.
Just
Right,
like,
and al-
just like we transfer the money
Okay.
transfers through us to
right,
Lockwood Matthews, it also transfers through us to the Historical Society.
Okay,
And the thing that's changing is we would request the money quarterly. So this is just do it
Okay.
once a year and be done like the Lockwood Matthews Mansion, because I have to
Okay.
generate the letter quarterly.
okay.
and just.
All
to
right, so
continue-
either Troy or I'll get you the number.
And yes, Eric is also on the Historical Commission Board. Am I correct, Eric? What is your title
That's
there?
correct.
Yeah,
yeah.
so he's not wearing a hat at the moment, but one of his several hats is the Historical Society as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
one for each personality.
So hundreds of hats he has. Okay, so that's tabled at the moment. Now we had the minutes. I ironically could not find April 26th minutes. Did anyone look at March, and unless anyone's lucky enough to find April 26th minutes? I think hopefully you all have March 1st and 22nd minutes.
Well, you could make a motion that is there anybody that has anything to add or amend to the minutes? And if not, they're approved and everybody votes on it. That way
That's
you
a
don't,
good way.
Yeah. See, he's filling in he's my guide dog, which was what.
I've been called worse, but I guess are the minutes sent out?
So March 1st and 22nd were of course sent out a long time ago. I probably should have resent them. And today I was looking for April 26th meeting minutes and I could not find them in my folder, my colossal folder on Historical Commission.
I think that's a good practice that, because, we don't always keep everything from like months ago to resend out whatever's going to be
Right.
discussed at the upcoming meeting,
Right.
to have in front of us, like at that budget, the meetings, minutes that we haven't voted on, just so it's all in one spot.
In the
Because
agenda.
Everyone's so busy, it's hard to like pull this
Yeah.
all together.
I recall looking through the two sets of March minutes and not finding anything of note that needed to be amended or added or deleted or anything like that. So we can at least, I'll make a motion to approve those. And maybe we can get that out of the way and deal with April 26th on another occasion.
Yeah, and then we'll also be doing with
That sounds
today's
fair.
minutes, but I
Okay.
also read those minutes and didn't find anything.
All right, so I move that I move to accept and approve the meeting minutes for March 1st and March 22nd.
I'll second
I'll
that
second
motion.
it.
Vote,
Who's there?
vote,
Vote, yes.
vote. Remember voting?
Oh, yeah. I approve. Was Lisa there?
Yeah, I approve.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, but I
I need to get you the
abstain.
Roberts Book of.
Of course, Jim doesn't have to vote because,
No, I abstained because I wasn't
Yeah.
there.
of course. Barry, did you want to vote or, okay. So we're voting, we accept the meeting minutes from March 1st and March 22nd. And we will table the minutes from April 22nd and look at them in the future.
Then I move to adjourn.
Oh, he's always on the ball about that. I second, am I allowed to do that? Second.
I'll second it.
Okay. Okay, thanks all for your time and timeout is 7:47 on my watch. I wear a watch. I know that.
And Jim, welcome to the zoo.
It seems like I'm the only guy going away with things to do.
Well,
It's the last time I come to
Right.
one of these.
Welcome. We
Uh-oh,
need you.
We
We
figured it out already, darn it.
Jeez. I
Okay,
think I
guys,
really
good
got-
night.
I think
Good
I really got
night.
taken here. Okay, good night,
Okay.
everybody.
Bye.